Pika, I've always wanted to compliment you. You make one fine cup of coffee. You really do. I salute you. Cheers. Salut. To you, not to Pika. He's a stuffed animal. I mean, I'm really actually talking to you, not to these three. Or four. How you doing? It's time for the Comics Coffee Table. Pull up a chair. Grab a cuppa. Whatever it is you're stuffing under your nose today there, pal. Sláinte. Skål! As they say in Valhalla. How are you today? We are going to leave the problems of the world over there for a couple of minutes. Pull up a chair to our coffee table. The coffee table was always where my friends and I would congregate. There would be a stack of movies, a stack of music, a stack of books, and a stack of comic books. And it would always spur a conversation. It would always be an overfilled ashtray. There would always be a drink in danger of being knocked over. You know, stuff like that. There would be just good times, good vibes, good people. And that's what we're doing here today with each other. 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily. We like to talk about comic books. And if I'm able to make the live chat premiere, I will be here in the live chat with you and you familiar faces and you new faces. It's so good to see new people too. Welcome. Thank you. Or leave a comment in the comment section where, this is where we continue the conversation. This is Comic Book Shop-Style Conversations. I'm really big into comic book shops themselves. These brick-and-mortar places of wonder and mystery and adventure. They are portals to different realms. They are kind of like the Doctor Who's TARDIS, the time and relative distance in space. Well, I don't, who? Well, thank you so very much for tuning in. I love comic book shops. They all have a personality. They're all, unless they're a chain, but they're pretty cool too, because then it boils down to the staff as well. And I'm blessed to have a few different comic book shops in my Boston area. Pre-recorded live before a studio audience of stuffed animals from our Boston studios, where there are several local comic book shops in the area. And the comic book shop itself is an endangered species, perhaps. The direct market is changing. The floppy could be, going away. Or I don't think so. I think it's print media, their publications, their magazines, as content changes and as the medium, like the reader itself changes. The reader has gone from book, print publications, pages, to phones and tablets. I was asked recently on an episode of Comics Aficionados by Wes Thinking Critically. So I'm so blessed and honored that he invites me on with enough that, hey, I'm like, wow, I'm part of the gang. Yay, in a way. He asked a question like, what would you do if you were the editor, the owner of DC Comics? You know what I mean? It's just like one of these great comic book shop style conversations. He got the idea from a Reddit. What's a Reddit? What's a subreddit? Why are so many people gatekeeping and blocking? And this is such. Why is it? What's a 4chan? I used to only do Blogger. Now I only do Twitter, and I never did Facebook. I mean, Twitter used to be a fun place before like 2014, 15, where there was a huge Facebook exodus, and then they brought whatever crap was on their shoes, they tracked it on our rug. It used to just be fucking fun shit on 140 characters. I used to do an SMS text for my Crackberry. You know what I mean? Then I can attach a photo. Ooh, what's this, attaching a GIF or a GIF? It's a GIF. That's like pineapple on pizza. There are certain fucking arguments to stay the fuck away from. And that's one of them. GIF or GIF. Pineapple on pizza. Fuck or off. Either, whatever you want. I'm a chef. I'll put pineapple on your pizza. I'll put anchovies. I don't eat anchovies. I put lobster on your pizza if you want. Or crab meat. I don't eat any of that. Or shrimp. No, I'm not into that. What are you into? What are a couple of your favorite pizza toppings? There used to be a pizza at a local pizza joint. I was flatmates with the owner, and he opened up a pizzeria. And he asked me, Eric, what would be a nice, signature pizza? And I could, use your name. And I was like, well, I'll tell you. It's called Sully's BLT Pizza. It's a pizza. Yes, round bread baked in an oven. With no red sauce. You use garlic oil instead, then cheese. Then you top with bacon bits and like sliced in half cherry tomatoes. And you bake it off. And when it comes out of the oven, before you serve it, you top it with romaine lettuce that's been tossed in Caesar salad dressing. So you have this cold component on top of your hot pizza. My mouth's watering because I can taste it every bite. It's like a hot BLT sandwich. It's weird. It tastes like a BLT because the mayonnaise component of the Caesar salad dressing, the bacon, the tomato, the lettuce, the bread. And then you have the hot cheese. It's just, mwah. So there, try that one day. Sully's BLT Pizza. No red sauce, use garlic sauce. Everything you've just heard there. Hit rewind. Clip that, Go for it. I like to make a big deal out of telling people to get your ass back to your local comic book shop. I guess, one of the big things of this show is about the local comic book shop, the LCS, the brick and mortar mom and pop shop that keeps our dreams alive. And we can keep them alive by going there and spending our money there. So while I'm reboxing, rebagging, and reboarding my entire comic book collection, I'm getting my supplies from my LCS. I could be getting them from my online supply chain, the one that I have a subscription to with the free shipping and the built-in TV network. I could be getting it at at a huge discount and mailed to my front door. But no, I'll pay the markup and I will go and, lug it home. Why? Because my local comic book shop is that important to me. And it should be that important to you too. So if you're buying supplies, if you need supplies, you probably do, go to your local comic book shop and spend your money there. I'm getting short boxes instead of long boxes. We're going to be looking at let's do it now. This is a brand new short box. They're smaller, they're shorter than the long box. I'm also getting bags. I want to get Mylar bags. They're coming, and they'll be there when they're there. I'm also getting acid-free boards, which I should have been using the entire time. It's like my greatest sin as a comic book collector or a fan. I don't even consider myself a comic book collector. I'm an accumulator of funny books. Yes. I feel more comfortable with funny book accumulator. Maybe I should put that on my business card. Reverend Sully, funny book accumulator. You need a QR code on this. Yeah. I was trying to go for elegant, but I should have gone for functional. Every other business card I've seen has a QR code on there. I can get a sticker. I know. Hey, con season's coming up. I got to get on that. Well, let's look at a long box. Oh, God, this is heavy. That's why we're switching, because it's the older I get, the heavier these long boxes get. I stepped on a scale with a full long box, 50 pounds. Yeah, that's a lot. And please be careful when long box diving at the local comic book shop too. They'll have these long boxes on the floor. Get down on the floor with the box and let your fingers do the talking, as we used to say in the 20th century. Now, that applies for today. We all let our fingers do the talking here. Talk about Twitter. Jeez. This is my legendary DC Crisis long box, a curation of the story of my favorite parts of the DC Universe Overstory. And it's done its job, though. I mean, look at this, is a fine example. It's like this corner is blown out. This one too. I could use some tape. It's absorbed some exploded homebrew. It was the summer swelt of 2014, and I had brown bottles filled with a chocolate stout that we had brewed the December before. And in this summer swelt, the heat wave, it caused those glass bottles to explode. and distribute their contents all over my friggin' closet. I lost so much shit covered in fucking brown glass and fucking stout. But those, yeah, that stout are those stains, and it protected these paper publications. Job done. You can be, you're being retired. We're taking you to the recycle. You know, you're gonna have another life. Seriously. Hopefully, as like a cardboard box or some packaging that's going to, you know, come to you through your online supply chain or something. Hopefully, a Gemini mailer from a wonderful indie comic creator. No, Pika, I have no ill will towards Mike Mignola. I was just set aback. I was like, it was one of my first cons in the 21st century. I went to a couple smaller cons, like out of high school. I remember going to one Star Trek con that was in a hotel, the Hilton, the Boston Hilton 57, I think it was. There used to be a 3-screen movie theater there. I saw Buck Rogers there. You know, I've seen Star Wars is there. It was, you know, that was the SAC 57, and it was the 57 Plaza, and it where was I going with that? It was the hotel, the Hilton, that was there that justified the 57 being a plaza. And it was my first con ever, and I went with my buddy JB, we'll call him that, a high school friend, and we were huge Star Trek nuts. We would, like, you know, park our asses in front of the TV every Friday night for premiere of Next Generation. So we went to the con. We thought it was a Star Trek con. It ended up being just a gaming, nerdy, geeky thing. A couple of rooms big. I remember getting a resin comm badge that was in the shape of it was the movie version, so it didn't have the oval in the background. It had the rectangle. So that was cool, but it was made out of resin, or it was crafted, and it had like a pin on the back. I loved that. That was great. I also bought a VHS copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special from 1978. That too got completely covered in stout and broken brown bottle glass, and it was bedazzled and bejeweled in a dangerous way. Maybe a Sith jewel box, as Emperor Palpatine beheld the newly risen Darth Vader in his cyborg form at the end of Revenge of the Sith. I love Star Wars. Old Star Wars. Disney Star Wars doesn't count. No. Neither does new Marvel. Disney Marvel doesn't count. Look at this balls on this man. To balance my fucking hot coffee on my fucking paper, on my comic books. What is he thinking, Pika? Brass balls. You need brass balls to be a comic book collector and going forward in the 20th century. They don't want us geezes who were the lifeblood of the industry and genre. They want to cash us in for a mythical crowd that doesn't spend their money. They don't have money to spend on this shit. And but hey, but yeah, Mike Mignola. I don't hold anything against him personally, I guess. It was unsettling. It was 2013. It was the Boston Comic Con. I'm there in an awkward first attempt at my Captain America cosplay. I had like a red, white, and blue bandana on my head. That jacket. I did not have the shield yet. I do have that shield for 2015. That was a JanSport I bought, I think in 2014. But I have the motocross jacket. I remember sweating my ass off. It was my first con in cosplay. It was 2013. I remember being in line outside that snaked around the entire Seaport convention, the old World Trade Center at the Seaport, and but that was one of the best parts of it, was hanging with all of these awesome, cool cosplayers and nerdy, geeky people, and for an hour and a half, waiting to get in, and then I got in. It was Saturday, so and I went alone. I mean, yeah, I'm very grateful that I have made friends on this YouTube platform, memes if you're out there. You know what I mean? Geez, like, we're gonna check out PAX East next week, and it's gonna be, friends to go to cons with, Rachel, Thomas, Zach Macklin, and D-Day, Direwolf, dude, gals, and everyone who I missed, and Brian, Marcus. I mean, just the whole lot of you. It's good to see you, and it's good to go to cons with people. So I went to this con alone, and we're getting into the funny books, Eric. It's 2013, so I went to the. I'm an ordained minister. If you might have heard, I'm an ordained minister, ordained on the internet. 31st March of 1998. On the 31st of March will be my 25th anniversary as an internet ordained minister. I know, huh? I've performed 3 weddings and done some naming ceremonies, and I've got a robe. It's the plainest robe I can get. It really calms the in-laws down. Let me tell you. Oh, your friend is performing the wedding ceremony, and they see me come out with the black book and the robe. Oh, he's the minister, and it makes the pictures look legit, and it's nice. It's a nice touch. And I usually do my weddings barefoot as well. You know what I mean? Just, whatever. A little dash of hippie. Fuck it. But Mike Mignola is standing right there, like, oh my God, Mike Mignola. I love Cosmic Odyssey. This is one of my favorite books. Jim Starlin wrote it. Mike Mignola had, I don't know Mr. Mignola's story about what went wrong with DC or whatnot, or even if there was a wrong, because he went on to be really successful and one of the first huge American independent comic book IP creators as we think of it in this modern context. You have Todd McFarlane's Spawn, which could be just as big, on that level. Well, you also have Mike Mignola's Hellboy. I was never a Hellboy fan, but gosh, the art, it's still going on. It's still, what a great property and what a great thing to bring onto the comic book world. And that was Dark Horse Comics. I might have some Hellboy in the Image box, the Image Dark Horse box. We do have Image and Dark Horse Comics. It's not all Marvel and DC, but it's mostly DC. I gotta say, we're looking at this, by volume, it's gotta be the percentages, my friend Mario says, you should be doing a spreadsheet. I don't want, that's not the sound I want in our show and our conversation. It's the sound of this. So I flipped Mike Mignola the bird yesterday on yesterday's show. I was feeling a little uppity and randy, fired up, one could say. But I'm saying, Mike Mignola, I love Cosmic Odyssey. You have no idea. This art is amazing. Carlos Garzon inked this, yes. So it's not just Mignola. His inker has a lot to do with this finished project. And but this is a great fourth world story. It brings in Darkseid. Dr. Fate. This is like post Legends. So it's post Crisis and it's post Legends. Let's look at the Indicia colophon. All right, and published 1998, Cosmic Odyssey. This collects issues number 1 through 4, and these were prestige format books on like a cardstock cover, and quite like the Dark Knight Returns format, and that publication quality and its price point too, I believe. Of course, the collection, this cost $20, 20 years ago. And Mike Mignola looks at me like, I can't remember if his mouth was open or closed. I'm gonna do the open mouth thing out of like sheer, abject feeling. He didn't say a damn word. He just looked at me, and he turned away. That's where that came from. I just want to let you know. I'm not really like, hostile. You know what I mean? I can be. I got angry down. There's only so far. How does it help? Hello? I'm a mature grown man. Still angry about slights at a con from a random interaction with a comics creator a decade ago. Nah, I mean, let that shit go. There you go. Let it go. You know, if we want to be enlightened, we can't be held down by what we're attached to. Our attachments will hold us down, and we won't rise up for the enlightenment. It's a self thing, yo. Ordained Minister, I told you. Awesome. JLA Avengers by Kurt Busiek and the late, great George Perez. This is, so these two, like, start off the Crisis long box. And actually, Crisis on Infinite Earths usually is here. It's in an elsewhere. Oh, wow. It's an old filing. It's an old... Stolen from an ex-girlfriend. I mean, one good thing about living with women, they always had nice smelling soaps. And I take care of my hands, my nails, because I'm on camera a lot. And I'm a chef, and I make cooking videos. And I mean, you don't want someone with grubby looking hands making your food. I mean, take some pride in your appearance. I get this from like Hagakure and from Miyamoto Musashi and the wisdom of the samurais, you know, like, you know, clip your finger and toenails. Have a little rouge up your sleeve in case you're hungover the next day. You know, today's the day you might die, so look good. That's the that's the spirit of that. But no, it's like I never bought any of these until, you know, the past few years. But I had to have stolen this off of an ex-girlfriend. One of those three-sided going to the garbage first of all. Get rid of you. But JLA Avengers. This is the crossover of all crossovers. There are so many reasons why you can't do this anymore. Oh, look. Introductions by Stan Lee and Julius Schwartz. Who's Julius Schwartz? We should get to Julius Schwartz one day. Maybe tomorrow, if we remember. Remind me to say, you know, hey, you got to talk about Julius Schwartz. So this is done by two publishing companies. It was published by DC, copyright 2004. And this was 2003, 2004. Published in single magazine form in JLA/Avengers. Avengers numbers 1 through 4. Copyright 2003, 2004. DC and Marvel Characters Incorporated. All rights reserved. There's your Indicia colophone. And there's some of the Julius Schwartz. Julius Schwartz was the editor-in-chief for the Silver Age, and was basically the editorial force behind the Silver Age of DC, and Stan Lee was the editorial and writing force of the Silver Age of Marvel. So this starts off like Crisis, in a way, by the artist of Crisis, with a Crisis level protagonists, antagonists, and we start off with two universes, and of course when they meet up for the first time, they're displaced on each other's worlds, and we find out more and more about each other's worlds, and it has one of the best lines. This has one of the best Wonder Woman lines in here of all time. And Wonder Woman was done by George Perez as well. I mean, and this is written by Kurt Busiek, and it's DC's Wonder Woman meeting Marvel's Hercules. And now this goes back to mythological Hercules stories. Who is Diana's mother, Hippolyta, the Queen of the Amazons. And so this is when they meet up and they get into their fight. You know what I mean? You are Hercules then? Despoiler of Hippolyta? And then he was like, I would not use those words myself, but I did have the honor of whap. Because that's, Hercules stole, beat, and had his way carnally with Hippolyta without her consent. Stole her girdle and devoured the Amazons. And, so Hercules is about to get his ass kicked by Diana, Queen of the Amazons. Look at that little panel. There are no little panels. There's only tiny art. Look at that! Fucking great, Diana. Awesome. literally slay princess. Look at that. All these stories be like, stand back, all of you. Hippolyta is my mother. I shall punish this villain as I see. She's gonna, like, you know, fucking yeah. Love it. Why is JLA Avengers part of my Crisis long box? That's pretty much it. As Stan Lee liked to say, enough said. Thank you so very much. We've been talking about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we'll find out who we're talking about when we turn the page tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. I would love to earn your subscription. Turn on those notifications, ring that bell. Hey, give me a like if you like this kind of content. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. Please tune in. We talk about cooking. We talk about spirituality and purpose. You know, so yeah, we try to cover a lot of stuff on this show, our little channel, and you're a big part, and you're the biggest part of this little channel. Thank you so very much. God bless. Namaste. Good luck, and we will see you again tomorrow in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye bye.